This video will walk you through the configuration of the top server Allen Bradley ControlLogix Ethernet driver. First, click to add a channel. A channel represents a communication medium from the PC to one or more external devices. A channel can be used to represent a serial port, a card installed in the PC, or an Ethernet socket. A channel and a device driver are closely tied. Only devices that the selected driver supports can be added to this channel. Give your channel a friendly, meaningful name. I will call the example channel AB ControlLogix. Click Next and choose the Allen Bradley ControlLogix Ethernet driver from the Device Driver dropdown. The Enable Diagnostics box can be left unchecked for now, but you can always go back and check this after the channel has been configured when troubleshooting communications. Click Next and choose the appropriate network adapter you want to use for communications. This can be left at default if using the default adapter for this operating system. Click Next to review the right optimization settings. These should be left at default when setting up your project. If you find you need to change them later, you can always go back and modify them after the channel has been configured. Click Next to review how the driver will handle non-normalized floating point values. This can usually be left at default. Click Next to review the optimization suggestions. We will discuss these in more depth throughout the configuration process. Click Next to review the channel configuration and choose Finish. You will now see your configured channel in the project. Next, click to add a device. Give the device a friendly, meaningful name. I will call the example device ControlLogix 5500. Click Next to select your device model. For this example, I will be using a ControlLogix 5500. You will want to choose the model that corresponds to your specific device. Click Next to set the device ID. Since I am making a direct connection to the ControlLogix PLC, I will enter the IP address followed by a (1), (0). The 1 represents the backplane of the ControlLogix and the 0 represents the slot of the CPU. Depending on your system, you may need to enter a routing path in the device ID as well. For help on configuring the routing path, please see the Communications Routing section of the Allen Bradley ControlLogix Ethernet driver help file. Click Next to review the scan mode. We recommend leaving this setting at default. Click Next to specify the timing settings. We recommend leaving these at default as well. Any of these settings can be changed later if needed. Click Next to define whether or not to use auto demotion to take unresponsive devices out of the polling cycle for a specified period. We recommend leaving the setting unchecked during the initial configuration. You can always go back and change this if you find you need it. Click Next to specify the database creation settings. The driver can automatically generate a tag database from the device. Here you can specify if and when the tag database will be created, how previously generated tags will be handled, and if you would like the tags to be included in a specified tag group. We will leave this at default for now and revisit this feature after the device has been created. Click Next to set the communication parameters. The port can usually be left at default, since 44818 is considered the recommended port for this protocol. If your device is using another port besides the recommendation, you would enter that here. The connection size specifies the number of bytes available on the CIP connection for data requests and responses. The valid range is 500 to 4,000 bytes. Increasing the connection size allows more read and write requests per data packet, which provides greater throughput. Note that only the ControlLogix 5500 and CompactLogix 5300 device models support this feature. The inactivity watchdog specifies the amount of time a connection can remain idle before being closed by the controller. In general, the larger the watchdog value, the more time it takes for connection resources to be released by the controller. If the event log error, CIP connection timed out while uploading project information, occurs frequently, increase the inactivity watchdog value. Otherwise, an inactivity watchdog value of 32 seconds is preferred. The array block size specifies the maximum number of array elements to read in a single transaction. The valid range is 30 to 3,840 elements. Click Next to set the Logix options. The protocol mode specifies how Logix tag data is read from the controller. The information necessary to perform logical reads is retrieved in a controller project upload sequence performed automatically by the driver. Logical blocking makes a call to read the whole structure as one block of memory, and logical non-blocking reads substructures as one block of memory. If anything in the PLC project changes, the server will no longer be requesting the correct data because the calls are based on memory locations. Symbolic reads are based on the tag name. Therefore, all the information needed to make a data request lies in the client or server tag's address. While this can be beneficial by reducing initial overhead time, it results in high device turnaround time when processing the symbolic addresses. The logical modes avoid the time-consuming address parsing and lookups that are required for every symbolic request. In general, symbolic mode is most efficient when only a few tags are being read. Logical blocking mode can either help or hurt depending on the number of tags you are accessing within a structure in RSLogix. This mode will pull the entire structure into the driver and allow the driver to parse the tag addresses internally. If you are referencing only a few tags within a structure, this would be inefficient. If the arrays you are accessing are all within a structure and make up most of the tags within that structure, this option would improve your performance. Logical non-blocking is usually the most efficient method of communications. If you're accessing less than 30% of the tags within a structure, this is the recommended method. When a logical protocol mode is selected, the controller synchronization options are available. When enabled, the driver synchronizes its own project image with that of the controller project when an online or offline project edit is detected. Failure to synchronize with project changes can lead to reading from and writing to the wrong native tag address. The driver also has the ability to automatically read string length. When enabled, the driver automatically reads the length member of the string structure whenever the data member is read. The default data type specifies the data type assigned to a tag when the default type is selected during tag addition, modification, or import. If default is selected, the driver retrieves the Logix tag's data type from the controller. It is recommended to set the default type to the majority data type as observed in the controller project. When Enable Performance Statistics is checked, the driver will gather communication statistics to help determine the driver's performance. Once a project configuration is designed for optimal performance, it is recommended that users disable this setting. Click Next to specify the Logix database settings. Tags can be generated either directly from the device or from an existing L5K file. Click Next to review the device configuration and choose Finish. You will now see your configured channel and device in the project. Tags can either be accessed dynamically from your client application or using a static address in the server. Static tags can be created manually or generated automatically using the database creation feature. To auto-generate the tags, go to the device properties and navigate to the database creation tab. Clicking the Auto Create button will generate the static tags in the server using the addresses in the controller or import file. Information regarding any configuration settings or optimization suggestions not explicitly mentioned in this video can be found in the top server help file. To view the help file, get the help server help in the configuration. Configuration settings pertinent to all drivers can be found in the server help section. For information on a specific driver, navigate to the desired driver and click Launch Driver Help. This concludes our configuration of the Allen Bradley ControlLogix Ethernet driver. As always, our support team is available to help you every step of the way. If you find you have questions or need any assistance, please do not hesitate to contact us.